All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. As always, I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are and whatever day it is for you. As always, it's Friday on the podcast, so bringing that good energy to you. Today is a multifamily day. We're going to be talking a little bit about Class B multifamily, which is what our guest invests in, Fuquan Bilal from NNG Capital. He does Class B multifamily and luxury spec homes. So if you guys are interested in luxury products, that's something we don't often talk about on the podcast. We usually talk about that workforce housing, but we're going to be talking a little bit about luxury and a little bit about multifamily. So that's what we're getting into. Fuquan, thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it, Gabe. Yeah, it's been a journey, this multifamily transition since after COVID to the southeast. So yeah, I'll be happy to talk about it, you know, talk shop, but so pain.
All right, sounds good. I told you before we got on here, we always like to start with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are. So why don't you take us to the beginning before you were in real estate and tell us how you got started and then what brought you here?
Oh wow, yeah. So for me, it was the opportunity to have, I guess at the time I thought it was more freedom. When you work a 9 to 5 and you see people on their own business, you think it's more freedom until you come to the dark side and you see it's not freedom, it's actually just flexibility, really what it is, right? To do what you want to do when you can do it. But you find yourself, when you are the type of person that go above and beyond, you find yourself working on the Sundays or working, traveling and doing certain things. So it's important, if you are new in real estate or you're seasoned, try to make sure that you plan everything for your personal life first, and then put everything else on a calendar around that. That way you have some equanimity, and you can continue, to move forward without getting burnt out, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Making sure that you carve time because, like you said, when you start your own business, it can easily take up all of your time. No questions asked. There's always something to do. There's always something that needs to get done, and so if you don't prioritize, the big important things in your life, like your family, your health, then they won't get done. So prioritizing that is super important. Where did you start in? You were started in corporate, and then you moved over to real estate, or how did that transition go?
Yeah.
And Fuquan, I'm gonna pause you real quick because your internet connection seems to be kind of struggling at this point. Is there, by chance, can you move closer to the Wi-Fi, or actually, we might have dropped
Now
Fuquan there.
connected to I'm connected to yeah.
Yep, and we lost them. We're gonna have to restart this one because it looks like Fuquan is he I was speaking with him before the podcast. He was actually at one of his multifamily properties in the leasing office, and it looks like they probably don't have the best internet in that leasing office. So we're gonna wait just a second here to see if we can get him back. If not, we're gonna have to reschedule this one. Oh,
It's
looks like
yeah. Well,
he's
something was what my internet connection, you kind of froze up.
Yeah, yeah. I got a notice that your internet connection was not working out, but right now it's working a lot better.
Oh wow.
Um,
So glitch. Okay. Where was
yeah,
I? So I was talking about the journey, I guess the transition from corporate. I was shadowing a cousin of mine, and he had the opportunity to make half my salary on the deal, a few months being in the game. And I just sort of right on the wall. And at the time I was going through a transition with my company, I just landed a big account where I was making a lot of commission that brought me over the $100,000 mark. And the owners took me out to lunch a few weeks later and decided it was a good idea to lower my base because they didn't know the commission was going to be that much. And I immediately put a 2 week notice. And I started my
you're
real
not
estate
taking my
journey
money, man.
I've started my journey in '99, flipping houses all the way up into the GFC. So that was my entry point into real estate. It's a very challenging business, but it's fun because you can never figure everything out, and it never gets bored. There's always drama. There's always something that's either going to propel you forward in a fast way financially, or create a situation where it could be a learning experience to help you rebuild processes so it don't happen again. So grateful for both, because it makes you into a better person, a better investor.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you got started, you said back in 99 flipping homes.
Yeah, man, it's been a 26-year journey.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. You've definitely seen ups and downs through the 2008,
I
2009.
have the scars. I have the battle scars. I am market cycle tested.
There you go. There you go. So tell us a little bit about that journey. You started flipping homes. At what point, like how did it go through 2008, 2009? And at what point did you switch over to multifamily? Oops, it looks like we are running into additional issues
That's
here with,
and
oop, there we go. Now it's back. Yeah, your
yeah,
internet keeps cutting
anybody
in and
who
cutting
was
out.
anyone who was playing big in that space, got hurt. So we learned a lot from that. What I learned from that was cash flow, right? The biggest thing, because I was flipping a lot of houses. I didn't have um, rental properties. At
Mm,
the time, it
mhm.
was just buy, fix, and sell. So that's kind of where I was at with that. And the lesson I learned from that was to make sure that you have cash flowing, appreciating assets.
Mm.
From there, I made a pivot into the note business, where I started
Oh, wow.
buying debt from the banks, and we played that space for a while, which was really great. But I got bored really quick. Made a lot of money, but I was used to the mix, dealing with the contractors and everything else,
Fun
and
stuff.
wanted, yeah, the fun stuff. Wanted to get back into that, and made that transition back in 2007. I'm sorry, 2017, focusing more on uh fix and flips while I did a little bit of notes. And then after COVID was my entry point into the multifamily space. So it's been a short 2020 actually when we bought our first asset, and then COVID happened shortly after. And it kind of was a slow period, but then so it was some momentum. But at that time, a lot of people were exiting, right? And those were the people, I think, in the multifamily space that made a lot of money. The people that exited those deals in 2021, 2022, people who came in and started buying a lot, like myself, was getting the tail end of the stick during that time. Still good pricing, um, but not as good as the people who, came in at '08, '09 and exited
Well,
2020,
even the
2021.
people that
Yeah.
came in, 2018, 2019, and then sold in
Yeah.
2021. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
those couple of years right there were crazy. Awesome. So what made you were doing fix and flips before that, you were doing notes. It's nothing like managing larger assets. What made you decide to go towards multifamily?
Well, really is New Jersey was where we had a lot of our rentals. We had a lot of multifamily, 3 units, 4 units, 12
Mm,
units. I think the biggest, largest unit I owned at the time was 20-unit building in one location. And you would have a snow storm and you would have to go out and shovel 100 and something properties, which is expensive, crazy. Taxes are expensive. COVID was really the wake-up call, because a lot of tenants, played the COVID thing. It's a tenant-friendly state, New Jersey.
mm.
So two things happened. On the rental side, tenants stopped paying rent. On the fix and flip side, we had this huge insurgency from New York, with a lot of buyers migrating over, which increased our values 30% over list price. So I said, well, you know what? I can ride this thing out with this COVID stuff and try to tap into the state money and deal with these tenants, or I can exit now and sell while I have the opportunity, and take the war chest and go to the southeast. And instead of having couple of hundred properties here all over the place, we can have all our problems in one place, so to speak. And it would allow us to create the impact that we set out to do with these type of low income housing on a larger scale. So we looked at our model and said, okay, our strategy is going to be to acquire properties anywhere from 40 units to 125, 150 unit max, where the big boys don't play, C plus, B class properties, and start to provide that affordable housing solution. And that's kind of what we set out to do in our BHAG, is, try to get up to 5,000 doors. And then I realized after 2 years of being in the space, I was like, wow, that's a long journey to find the right product, right? Because you buy a 150 unit building, at least for us, it takes at least 6 months for us to first figure out all the lies the seller told us and untangle all the drama they had at the property, then dig into the deferred maintenance and deal with the residents that was promised all this stuff. Like you're going through that the first 3, 4 months, and 6 months later, you finally get to a point, at least for us, I'm speaking, where it's stabilization, and then you start going to that upward trajectory. So I was like, okay, I'm at the rate of 5,000. I would have to buy 300 plus units a year if I wanted to hit that 5,000 mark in X amount of years. And I just quickly pivoted that to it doesn't have to be a number of doors. The mission is to provide quality, affordable housing, with the keyword quality being in front, right? So having that mindset of changing complex to community, most people go in and go, hey, the rents are 20% below market. We're going to go in, we're going to renovate, we're going to increase rents. But nobody is doing anything about the people that's there. It's just the curb appeal and how much
Mm,
more they can drive the rent. So complex to community is uplifting the people, not just the property. How do you do that? You get nonprofit organizations to come in and provide maybe tutoring for the kids or how to apply for jobs, how to fill out your resume, how to become a homeowner instead of a renter, doing those little things that kind of shift the mindset. Zumba classes for the elderly in the function room, just little things like that. We're doing a trunk and treat Halloween thing for kids. You got back to school stuff, like all those things that's community mindedness versus just about the dollar. So it's purposeful capitalism, if you will. So
yeah. Well,
it
and
means a lot when you go in that direction.
the thing about going above and beyond for your tenants, it's it has that purpose element, like it's the right thing to do. But anytime that there is something that is the quote unquote the right thing to do, that always drives it back to the dollars. Because if you're creating a community that people want to be in, there's going to be less turnover. You're going to be having a higher quality of tenant. They're going to treat the units better. So I always people always, when they make that distinction, like they want to have purpose versus only caring about the dollars. I always feel like that's not a necessary distinction, because when you really care about the tenant, you are caring about the dollars. The more you care about the tenant, the more you create an environment that they want to live in. That is going to improve the ROI of your property. And so, yeah, I like that kind of virtuous cycle that happens when you really start to improve the lives of the people that live in the properties that you own.
Yeah,
Um,
purposeful capitalism is what I call it.
nice. I like it. I like it. Okay, so you're focusing in on those that 40 to 150 units, the a little bit bigger than what the small guys plan and a little bit smaller than what the big guys plan. So you're trying to stay in that middle area. And now you're just trying to focus on quality units. You're not looking for that 5,000 mark. You're just trying to focus on good deals and creating good communities for people to live in. You've also mentioned luxury spec homes that you build. Tell us how that kind of came to be, why luxury, and yeah, tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, a lot of that was from the pivot of COVID also, right? So everything we did was in New Jersey, first of all, and I come from North New Jersey, which is a low income area, so that is why I have this mission to kind of go back to those communities. That's how my journey started. When I was flipping houses, I would go back to the hood where I came from, revitalize those properties, put them back on a tax roll, and it was a really good feeling. So we built out a portfolio in those areas, and after COVID, we had to come up with another strategy, right? We said, okay, we're gonna divest the rental portfolio, take that strategy to the southeast, but we're gonna keep the fix and flip strategy here in New Jersey. But we're not gonna do low income flips in the hood anymore. We're gonna compete with the builders because we have a fund, we're raising capital, we can buy deals cash just like they can. We have lines of credit with banks as well. So let's go and compete with those areas. And what I came to find out was it's way more profitable because I won't say it's less competition because there's a lot of competition there, but it's not, it's more people that can buy a house for 200,000 and renovate it and sell it for 450 or 500 versus somebody have to pay 650 for a house, tear it down, spend $1 million to build it and sell it. Like,
Yeah.
it's less people that's willing to take that much calculated risk. So we started to transition to that model and found out that renovations are easier. We build the home spec. We don't we're not a builder. My realtor's always telling me, "You are a developer." So we build it to what we like to see it finished,
Mm,
and then a homeowner comes in and buy it. So we don't let them pick their towel and do all the other stuff. It's just too much work, too much brain damage. So we design it, we fix it, we put it on the market. If they like it, they buy it. If they don't, there's a buyer out there for it. So that's what we do specifically in Northern Jersey. And the market is still decent for now. Who knows what will happen 90 days from now? But right now, it's our focus, and we just made another pivot. Those houses, by the way, those luxury spec homes sell anywhere between $1.5 million to $2.5 million. That's kind of where we play. We just made another pivot last quarter to start buying more uh, properties we can sell under $1 million to increase our cash conversion cycle, where we could just go in and do small kitchen bathroom renovations, still quality work, but sell less than 1 million. We can sell and mix that with the ground up construction. The ground up construction usually take anywhere between 18 to 24 months, which is, the cash conversion cycle is it's too long. So we want to speed it up by doing smaller, quick hitters, and then out, still luxury quality, and you know, generate more liquidity that way. So that's a little bit about what we do here in New Jersey.
yeah. Yeah. 18 to 24 months, a lot can happen in that time in a given market. And so if you're betting on a certain, sales price at 24 months down the line, there's no guarantee that'll be able to be hit. And so that makes a lot of sense. You want to shorten that time frame. So the luxury end, you said 1.5 to 2.5. Those are you're doing teardowns. So you're buying a lot in an area. It doesn't necessarily have to have a luxury home on it. It could have a shack, and you're just going to come down, bulldoze it, and put something completely new in there.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, and the timeline really consists of if a variance is needed, if you need to go for certain approvals. Architect drawings now take 6 weeks to 2 months, unless you're building the same house on every single lot. If the lot size is the same, you're using the same architecture plan, you're doing the same thing. We don't have that luxury. We're not building in North Carolina where you buy a plot of land, you can develop 20 houses that look the same. Um, you know, the profits are really great though
Yeah.
when you do that here.
So I'm going to speak out of ignorance here because I do not do luxury product, and it's something that I've always been interested in. So I am curious when you're deciding on. I mean, you're not buying properties that you're going to be flipping. You're going to be rehabbing. You're actually doing development, so you can buy them in. I mean, you can do this anywhere, but I'm sure the zip code, the area makes or breaks a deal.
Oh, for
So
sure.
how do you find how do you decide on the areas that you're actually looking for these teardowns to buy?
Yeah, so we look at what is zip code wise selling the fastest in what county, what city. All right, what does it consist of? How many square feet? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What's the school system look like? And how much? What's the transaction value? And once we target that, we have a few cities that we laser focus on. We do direct to seller campaigns to try to get deals off market at a bigger discount. See, that's the main thing. It's how much of a discount you can get when you buy, right? Because if you're buying off MLS, you're usually going to pay probably 20 to 25% more than what you would if you have someone who's in a house, their kids are all out, they're in a house by themselves, they're paying taxes, they're elderly, they just want a fast cash offer and be done. So that's kind of, the secret sauce, if you will. Then we'll take the house and we'll look at the lot and see what's the maximum we can build the fastest. Is it a 3,500 square foot home that would fit here that's common in the area? Is it a 5,500 square foot home that's like a little mini mansion? What's sold in that area? How much would it cost to build it? What's the timeline? Does it need any variances? Are there any houses we built prior that we can replicate but just change the inside a little bit? So there's a lot of that goes into it. And then we pull the trigger and move forward. While we're under contract, we're already starting the architecture drawings. So by the time we close, we're kind of almost done with the plans and we can submit for permits right away. Then we stagger the permits. So we'll do demo, foundation, then building. Most people package it all together and submit it and wait for one big approval, which takes forever. So we kind of break it up into different phases so we can get things done while we're waiting,
Yeah,
so.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about amenities because when you're talking about luxury product, like back when I was doing flips, there I walked through a couple luxury houses, and they all have they're all so unique and different, and they just had random stuff in them that you would not think to add, and it wasn't consistent. You would go here, there'd be a pool, here there'd be a tennis court, here there'd be whatever, an indoor movie theater. But so they definitely cater to different personalities, different buyers. When you're developing the luxury side of things, what are the standards that you put in? And then is there any time when you're adding in something that maybe it would kind of pigeonhole you into a specific buyer, like a tennis court, somebody who plays tennis, or is it always generals, general
Yeah,
like
always generals. We don't get caught up into that. We leave the honeydew projects for the people who's going to actually move there. If they want to put a tennis court, a swimming pool, whatever, we will put things like a pet washing station in the basement where it could have been a mud room coming in from the garage or whatever. So those little things we'll do. We use the same appliances in every house, the Z line appliances. We don't use Thor or any of those other high-end Wolf and all the other stuff. We just use Z line straight from Home Depot. One of their top end stuff. The homeowner when they buy it, if they choose to buy Sub Zero and all that, they can swap it out. But it is a 48-inch range. It is a 60-inch refrigerator that we put in there as far as appliances. We try to not use, we actually don't, Home Depot fixtures. There's a company called Restoration Hardware that sells a lot of expensive stuff. What we do is we find that, we copy it, and we buy it from Wayfair. So essentially, what happens is we buy the same look-alike, like
yeah,
luxury stuff, but it's from Wayfair, stuff like that. So it's all in the look and the design. We do hardwood floors throughout the whole house. We'll put heated floors in the bathrooms.
mm,
All of the bathrooms on the second floor, we'll do that. We'll make sure there's a his or her walk-in closet. The rooms are very spacious, vaulted ceilings, stuff like that. 9-foot ceilings in the house, nice grand foyer, things like that is what we pay attention to. Anderson windows, the basic stuff.
yeah, the thing that
Those are the
everybody
basic
wants.
stuff yep, that's kind of what we focus on. So,
Yeah, makes sense. All right, man. With that, we have ran down the clock. It is past the 20-minute mark, so it is time to jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
let's go, let's go.
Let's do it. Starts with education. It could be any form. It could be a mentorship program you've been a part of, a conference you've gone to, a book you've read, a movie you've seen, anything. Just need two recommendations: one for general life wisdom, and then one for real estate.
So a book for general life wisdom is the owner Maxwell Maltz. It's called Psycho Cybernetics. I don't know if you ever
Oh
heard of
yeah.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah, Winning Self Image, really good book. And I would say the for real estate, a book I've read that was really good. Everyone else what really got me focused when I was younger. Rich Dad Poor Dad. I guess that's the go-to. Everybody, likes to read. My kids love it. They got it in real estate because they read that book and got an aha moment. So yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it that book is perfect for getting you motivated,
Mhm.
and giving you an idea of why you should be doing something. All right, next question is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Fuquan who is just getting started. He was flipping houses back in 99. Go back to that version of yourself, look yourself in the eye, and give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Keep some rentals. Don't do all
All right.
flips.
I like it. I like it. That has been echoed across many episodes. I wish I kept more in my portfolio. It is always difficult because sometimes, you want that money right now, but in $1,000 a month on a rental, it doesn't feel like a lot, but definitely over time, it's going to make a huge difference. So I understand the incentive there. All right, next question is about the U.S. It's a big place. There is a lot of opportunity out there. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
I would say where I'm at in New Jersey, the northern part where we are, Essex, Morris, Somerset County. So a lot of great single family deals there with a lot of great opportunities.
All right, New Jersey. All right, next question is about finding deals. It all starts with getting in contact with the seller and penning that purchase agreement. So, what is your favorite way to generate leads and find new deals?
Direct to seller, whether it's mailers, cold mailers create a lot of good inbound. They still work today in today's market. Just got to nurture the lead and nothing like good old fashioned cold calling.
Yep. Yeah, those are the two that just never go out of style, and they always work. Sometimes they'll be more effective than others, but if you send out mailers, if you do cold calling, it's going to work. You just got to put in the effort, put in the dollars, and you're going to get some return on that. All right, next question is about lessons learned. Not every deal we get into goes the way we expect it. In fact, pretty much every time something's going to go wrong, and that's when we get to learn a lesson. So, what was a deal that went a little bit sideways for you? What was the lesson you pulled from it?
Wow, Dill was a single family home that I purchased for $30,000. It was worth $160,000, and I closed it in 2 weeks. And the one thing I didn't do was the environmental, and it wound up being a contaminated oil tank under the ground that was like 150,000 in repairs. So,
Oh, that
so,
sucks.
so I held on to that property for like 6 years though. I wound up selling it and was very profitable.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and the lesson there is to never skip a step in your due
Yeah,
diligence. It's
100%.
so yeah, it's
100. It
so
was greed. It was pure greed. You got to close down 30 grand. I went and looked at it, didn't see the way you feel because they cut it, didn't do my due diligence and boom, got caught. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it's hard because when you see a deal and you just feel like it's a slam dunk, you're gonna want to cut corners. You're gonna want to not do every single step, but that'll come back to bite you. But that leads us to the highlight reel. Sometimes things just go right, and it stands out in our mind as one of our favorite deals. So go back to the deal that it's just kind of there in your mind as something that you really enjoyed, you really liked it. Go back to it and give us the highlights.
Wow, it was a deal I closed a month ago. I made 870 something thousand dollars, $73,000. It was a ground up project. We did it in a year and we walked away from it with a really big bag. And that was
That's
great.
great.
A lot of good efforts. We refined our SOPs to kind of get the construction process going faster. We were successful in doing that, and we got to the end, and we got a contract on it 47 days after being on the market, and very profitable. So that's why I
Nice.
say the 18 and 24 months is a long time, but when you're getting those type of hits, it's worth it.
Yeah, $800,000 on a single project. I would take that any day.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right. And that leads us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
Yeah, I'm all over social media at Fuquan Bilal. You catch me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can also go to our website, nngcapitalfund.com, schedule a discovery call. If you're a passive accredited investor, you want to learn more about what we do, or just talk about the journey, we're more than happy to connect with you.
Perfect. I'll put that link in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It's going to pull down that full description. And in there, you can find Fuquan's links. All right, man. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Awesome. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.